Hi guys, it's me, Andrea. I'm drawing today again. I'm using my journal for the, it's a Facebook group called My Year 2017. Problem is, I'm not really following the prompts anymore. It's a bit, too much. It's a bit too, yeah, it's not, most of the time, it's not my theme. Also, but I'm working in it, and when you saw the first pages I made, I used this craft paper journal and use always my leftover gesso to have this little square in the middle, and then I work on it, and I really like it. So this time I draw a little cat, a cheeky little cat with a bow, and it reminded me so much of one of these cheeky ones, stray, little strays roaming through the night. And so that's what he looks like to me. And I will pick that up, when I go further into it. So I use water-soluble crayons here. Start with the Tim Holtz ones. Only have a few, one set, and not really into them actually. I must admit, I like most of the Tim Holtz stuff, but this one's I'm not convinced. I like my Neocolor twos. I really love them, and when I want to work with some softer ones, I have my gelatos and some of these cheap crayons I have from our discounter here, and then I have these marabou ones. They're really fantastic, really like them. So it wasn't necessary to have these ones from Tim Holtz as well, but I tried them and I didn't buy any more, so that's great. So if you haven't got any of those stuff, they are quite good, not the question. But with the stuff I have, I'm more than equipped, more than perfectly equipped. So, and you can see I'm going on here with my Neocolor twos and go in with shading, and that's what you do. And I really like to work, especially in this journal, with my Neocolors or with these crayons, anyway. So because of the structure of the paper, even though there is gesso on top, when you work with the crayons, it's so uneven. It's not on every spot it reacts in the same way. You have a spot there's more gesso, so you can work these crayons much smoother, and when you have less gesso, then you're working more on this craft paper, and it will soak into the craft paper and you have darker areas. So it's quite interesting. That's what I really like. And yeah, so what I will do is I will stamp. The problem is, of course, I will stamp into the background and the guy's already there. So that's why I make a template here, or a mask. It is a mask, but it was this thin deli paper, and it might bleed through when I stamp over it, so that's why I put that on thicker paper, and I put some of this temporary glue tape things on the reverse and glue it onto the little cheeky cat. So I have this stamp set from Sheena Douglass, and she has one with this wonderful town, New York house things. Yeah, that's what I want to use for the background. It's a bit tricky because it's in a journal. That's always my problem. I prefer so much working on loose pages, so much more freedom. And so I show you here how I manage that with a stamp positioner to get the stamping right. The problem here is, I would be better off with having some craft foam to stamp on. As you can see, it's not perfectly stamped because of my difficulties to get it very far to the edge, but yeah, I will go over it afterwards. And I had the same problem here, and I think it's always better to put some of this craft foam on the bottom or behind it when you are under it, when you want to stamp some certain stamps, especially this one. They're very detailed, and it works much better. But I could manage it. There wasn't a perfect image here, as you can see now, and I will definitely stamp again. I'm thinking here and there, yeah, come on, go again. I still have my positioner, still have the image on that plate to line it up, and try it again. Putting the most amount of ink on that spot, what misses a lot of ink, and press it down really hard. Now you can see putting my whole weight on it. I'm much better now. So it's not perfect, but much better. So, and then I decided I will do it on the other side again. I show you this part especially very slow, not, of course, not in real time, but slow enough that you can pick up on this stamp position. And, you know, at the moment there's a lot of going on with this Misties and with this stamp positioner from Tim Holtz. I would love to have that one, really. But you you know, the stuff costs money. The Tim Holtz one is a bit cheaper than the Misty. I think the Misty is incredible. It's expensive. Don't know why, but yeah. But it costs money. And when you're tight of money, you can easily get this cheap, steep stamp positioner, and they're doing a great job. I was always happy with them, and I have it for years. Okay, so and you know, when you have a journal working in a Misty or in the stem position now or thing from Tim Holtz, it's difficult, and that's possible with the stem positioner. So another reason for them. What I do here, I used red for the town, and some of you might guess why, because it's in the title now. And I use a bit of purple here with one new color too for the background, especially only where the white is. I didn't want to do any more coloring. I want to keep the craft areas outside the square pretty, yeah, as it is. So on here on the bottom I wasn't happy, it was far too much, so it's easy to remove with a wet baby wipe. That's always a good thing with this water-soluble stuff. So what I do now, I go on with darker colors, go a bit darker and darker, just simply to shade a bit here around the little guy, and I take some of the red off here and there on the houses to get a bit of shading, bit of highlights. Very easy to do with this, and this is a black or dark grey. That's a dark grey new color for shading I use here, and for the edging, of course, under the houses. So, but now the title. And what I do is I use, this is a stencil from Viva Decor. I use the letters, the initials, and the rest of the word I write down very small. And I, of course, will write down, let's paint the town red. And now you know why I painted this little houses red. That's what came to my mind when I saw this little cheeky guy. He looks so cheeky, doesn't he? And I think he's one of the strays who's out whole night having fun, coming home in the morning. I'm hungry, and then sleeps all day. And that what came to my mind when I saw him, or when I finished him drawing. So, okay, going in. You know, I'm not using. I only use this stencil to have a nice letter. I wouldn't be able to do it by hand or by drawing, so that's why I used it. But I can, of course, then color in it freehand, and I used my Pitt pen for that. And then I go around the edges and give it some dimension. I will go around with some grey for shading, and then with with some white Posca. But now first I go over the words, erase it, and then I go and use my Posca here to make it a bit more, give it a bit more depth, or yeah, dimension. Was a bit thin. So here's the grey alcohol pen I use for shading outside, and then I use the Posca for some white highlights. But that's actually it. Now here are the highlights I use, and I oh no, I'm working on the bow. Of course, the bow is not really, yeah, the creases and the little folds and everything is not coming out. First, I use white to work on the highlights here. You know, a bow has this folds, and that's what I'm working on now with whites and with black. That's the acrylic paint I still had on my palette for whatever reason. I don't know. I always have something on my palette still, right? So, and that's it. That's already the close-up. Not that much details to look at, but as you can see. So I loved it. I love this little guy and I had a lot of fun. I hope you like it and you might give me a thumbs up or leave even a comment. Would be much appreciated. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope I see you soon with my next project. Have a fantastic time. Bye bye.